What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about crosshair placement. Whether you're trying to edit faster, win more box fights, or simply have better aim in general, crosshair placement is really one of those things that makes a huge difference, but many players seem to overlook it. With that said, in this video, I'll be going over how you can practice and improve your crosshair placement so you can perform better in game and put yourself a step ahead of other players. And before we hop into this video, I want to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, which is Hero Wars. Hero Wars is an online action RPG game available on Android, iOS, and PC. With over 100 million players around the world, Hero Wars is one of the top growing games currently. From the start of the game, you can play the campaign, which has 13 chapters, each chapter having more than 10 missions, and you can collect and level up more than 50 unique heroes with different skills that'll help you explore the Dominion and defeat all your enemies. You also have 6 game modes, including the Arena, the Airship, Outland, Guild, Tower, and Grand Arena, so you definitely won't be running out of things to do. And the best part is, the game is completely free for all platforms when you use the link at the top of the description or the QR code on screen. So whether you're looking for a fun pastime or a new game to grind and become a beast at, Hero Wars has got you covered. As well as that, you can also join guilds, you can participate in PvP, and use various other online features which make the experience even more immersive. Once again, if you'd like to try out Hero Wars for free, you can scan the QR code on your screen or the link down below to give it a shot. Also guys, when you use the QR code or the link in the description, you're going to be getting a secret hero absolutely free, so you definitely won't want to miss out. Thank you once again, Hero Wars, for sponsoring this video. So with all that said, guys, the first thing I want to discuss is how you can optimize your crosshair placement to edit efficiently and in turn increase your edit speed. I did briefly cover this in a recent video where I talked about how to edit faster, but I wanted to cover it in this video as well since it's a pretty useful tip to know. So when you're editing in Fortnite, it's really important that you're essentially moving your crosshair as little as possible between the tiles, as this allows you to confirm your edit earlier and in turn edit faster. A simple example is something like a plain arch edit on a wall. If you're editing super wide and your path is very far, your edit is going to be a lot slower compared to a quick short motion between the tiles. So essentially, you're going to want to move your crosshair as little as possible between the tiles if you're able to, and you're going to want to use the most efficient route with your crosshair to maximize your edit speed. There are a few maps you can use in creative to practice this, and the two I usually recommend include one by a map builder named Zenex60 and another one by Raider464. The first map by Zenex60 basically has a crosshair placement edit course, which you can access by going from the lobby into the left portal and then into the map with all the builds. In this map, each build is basically marked with the most efficient edit path that you can take with your crosshair, and it'll really allow you to nail down the muscle memory involved in crosshair placement. Raider's map is a similar situation as well. From the lobby, you can enter the crosshair placement section, which basically has a bunch of walls that are marked with the most efficient edit path. The main difference between these maps is that Zenex's map has a ton of different structures, while Raider's only has a ton of different wall edits. But overall, I'd recommend you guys give them both a fair amount of practice to get really good at a variety of edits, since Raider's map offers a bit more variety with walls in particular, while Zenex's gives you a good mix of all builds. With that said, I'll be tossing the code up to each map on screen now. The code for Zenex60's map is going to be on top, and Raider's map is going to be on the bottom. Another aspect of crosshair placement that I really wanted to bring up in this video is editing into shots. This is something that I don't really see many players talking about, but it's something that's really important, especially if you're not that great at flicking across your screen to hit a shot. Anytime you're editing in Fortnite, at least when there's an opponent you're up against, like in a box fight, you're going to want to make sure that the final tile that you edit is the closest tile to your opponent. That way your crosshair is already lined up fairly close before you even go for a shot. For example, if an opponent is right above your box like you see on screen and you want to go for a shot on them, you're normally going to want to edit from the right side tile to the top middle tile. That way you can have that clean right hand peek on the top right triangle edit, as well as setting up your crosshair pretty close to your opponent. That way you don't have to flick too far and you can really get the shot off fairly easily. Obviously, having your crosshair closer to your opponent is going to typically make the shot a lot easier, so be sure to keep that in mind. Finally guys, for this last bit, I want to just talk about some general guidelines to follow with crosshair placement aside from the most efficient editing method and editing into shots, and really just give you guys some other general tips that I picked up during my time playing Fortnite relating to crosshair placement. So the first of these tips is a super simple one, yet one that I see so many players messing up on, and that's keeping your crosshair around head level when you're moving around. Some players seem to have this thing where they're going to look near the ground while they're running around, and not only is that going to hurt your awareness because you literally can't see anything, but it can also make it really hard if somebody jumps on you as well. When you're running around in game, it's always best to be looking around, trying to scout for other players and better understand your situation, so make sure to adjust if you ever catch yourself lacking while you're running around in game. Another quick tip that I have is anytime you're in a fight, specifically in close quarters, keep your crosshair trained around your opponent. Too many players make the mistake of trying to take a wall and looking towards the bottom or something, but really you always need to have your crosshair right on your opponent in these situations, since if they decide to go for a shot, you can easily counterfire and you can just keep eyes on them in general as well. So overall, it's just a really good rule to follow. follow. When you're in a box fight situation, especially if you're in one of those standoff type situations where you're both kind of just sitting there on peaks, focus on tracking your opponent through their builds and keep your crosshair on them as much as possible. Finally guys, moving on to the last tip of this crosshair placement guide, and this is one that so many players seem to mess up on, and that's aiming for your opponent's head. I know that it almost seems silly that I'd give a tip like aiming for the head, especially regarding crosshair placement, which is usually something that's a pretty advanced topic, but I cannot tell you guys how often I'll watch a player jump into somebody's box and comfortably hit a 100 damage body shot with their pump when they could have easily brought their crosshair up a tad and obviously ended the fight in milliseconds. When you're in a fight, you really just want to take note of where you're actually pointing with your crosshair. Simply aiming for your opponent isn't enough. You need to focus on hitting a solid shot as well, which is why taking some time to line up your shot and making sure that you're hitting a big shot to the head is really important. And this is seriously one of those things that separates people with really good crosshair placement from the average player. But with all that said guys, that's going to wrap it up for this guide on how to improve your crosshair placement in Fortnite. If this video helped you out, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content just like this in the future. As well as that, be sure to check out Hero Wars, which is going to be linked down in the description, and claim your secret hero 100% free. With that said, thank you all for watching this video though, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.